Hi Fude lovers. Feels like it's been a hot minute since I've had time to film a Fude video, so finally had a few moments. I wanted to get on here and just give my first impressions on the new Sonia G Traditions Series Select 2024. And I haven't had a chance to use them yet, but I did want to do some comparisons and just give my first impressions. And yeah, without further ado, so I'm sure as you guys have seen, this brush set comes with this really beautiful Paulownia box. It's got the Sonia G logo on the top and a really beautiful tassel. And I'm sure as you guys have seen, you can open it up and actually use it for brush storage, which I think is pretty neat. And it houses these 4 brushes perfectly. I don't know if you'll be able to fit much more than these 4, but honestly, that's completely fine for me personally. I've got other storage methods, but because these are so special, I am happy to have some sort of, you know, really pretty box to house them in. So I think that that's pretty neat. Okay, so first off here, we have the TS1. Now these handles are made with Kiyaki wood, and it's got the standard Sonia G logo. Kumano Fude, Japan. And I really like how she always labels her brushes. So this one here is made with Quo Goat and white Canadian Squirrel. Personally, this is truly one of my favorite mixes ever. Very, very soft. It's going to give you that softness of the white Canadian Squirrel, but it's also going to give you the resiliency of the goat. Beautiful hair mix. If you haven't tried white Canadian Squirrel and Quo Goat mix, you definitely need to, because it's just phenomenal. It's got great blending power as well because of that goat mixed in. So I did see on social media, some of you guys had mentioned there's a significant gap where the ferrule is. Now mine does have a gap, but to me, it's not to the point where I'd say, okay, something's wrong, because I will say Sonia truly is an amazing artist. I mean, the way that she just gives us these brushes, the way she creates them is just top notch. So just know if something is made a certain way and you're unsure, it's more than likely intentional, because her designs are always top notch. And the reason why typically Fude artisans or manufacturers will give you that slight gap is actually for the movement. And with smudger brushes, personally, I actually prefer there to be a little gap. And I meant Sonia is a wonderful creator. I'm sorry, don't mind me, I have worked all day and I've just been so busy. So it's been really hard to get back into the swing of things. So, but yeah, she's amazing. The artisans she works with, absolutely amazing. So anything that you're curious about that you're like, okay, this looks like a defect, it's more than likely intentional. And I know that the gap in the ferrule is intentional. You can really see it here. And just the way it tapers. I really love the thickness. It's got really nice thickness, but it's also going to get really precise. And you can see, because of that gap, see the movement it has? I prefer that with my smudger brushes because I feel like it's not going to ever feel too harsh. Sometimes my eyes can get sensitive and they can get watery. So for me, I actually love when smudger brushes have good movement. I don't like when they're too stiff. Although with this bristle mix, it would probably never feel scratchy, but yeah, I just love it. So, all right, so I've got quite a few comparisons for each of these brushes. I just kind of pulled them out as I thought of them. So this is the Hoto X Bobo SO2 brush. And this one is actually a mix of Psycho Goat and Weasel. And when I saw the Sonia one, it really reminded me, of the Hoto and Bobo. But actually seeing them side by side, you can actually see the thickness on the Hoto Bobo is more, and it's probably also due to the hair mix. But then again, as I look closer here, see how Bobo's ferrule has like that lip? So it really gives the brush a nice solid build, but it's going to have a little less movement than Sonia's, but because the length is longer on the Hoto Bobo, it does still have really good movement. And this smudger brush has become one of my favorite smudger brushes in my entire collection. So I was happy to see Sonia bring one out that was somewhat similar. Okay, so there's that one. And then I've got, I just brought out, just for size comparison's sake, the Rephr 02 Mini. And of course, Sonia's measurements for all these brushes are on Beautylish's website. I did not have time. If I do have time, I'll update my description box for you guys. But if you are curious on the measurements, the dimensions, definitely check out her blog as well. Of course, as you all know, her blog is the most helpful arsenal you could ever go to for Fude information, especially on her launches. So if you need further details, definitely make sure to check out Beautylish or Sonia's blog at SWEETMAKEUPTEMPTATION'S.com. So yeah, the Rephr is longer, but the ferrule sizes look pretty similar. I will say Sonia's looks just a little bit bigger, and it is wider. You can see Sonia's is wider from the side angle. I just figured I'd bring out brushes that I have that are similar to these. So if you guys don't have this new Traditions series, if you have some of these brushes, you might know if you'll like them. You know what's really nice too is they're sold as individuals, which I thought was really nice. So if you're only thinking of picking up 1, 2, you know, then definitely go for the singles. It doesn't come with the Paulownia box though, so only the set of the 4 brushes comes with the Paulownia box. All right, and then I have a Chinese Fude brush that I wanted to compare. This is the QLang Gong smudger brush, and this is in Red Squirrel. And QLG, as we know, she does not skimp on density, but you can see neither did Sonia. I mean, it's really nice. And of course, Red Squirrel is probably one of the most delicate hair types, so having it thicker, I definitely prefer it. Where with Sonia's, how it has the goat mixed in, I feel like hers is just perfect density. But here's the movement on this one. Super, super soft. I really like that brush a lot. And then I have the Hoto B5510. This is another smudger brush that I have. And the Hoto is horse. So the hair is going to feel a lot different than Sonia's. Sonia's is going to be a lot better for sensitive eyes. Personally, the Hoto though, I've used this brush so many times and it's never scratchy. Their horse is actually really, really nice. And you would think just by hearing the bristle type horse that it would be like scratchy, but it's not. I've showed this brush on my channel quite a few times, but yeah, here they are again compared. And you can just see how Sonia's has a really nice length. It seems to be just a little bit, actually. Yeah, I like the tip of Sonia's, how it really comes to that fine point and the length. Yeah, it's really nice, actually. And then I have this Hoto, and I always forget the name offhand. I gotta start labeling brushes. This is why it's great when manufacturers label their brushes with the numbers, so when I do videos, but I have definitely shown this on my channel before. It is made of Kolinsky hair. Here they are compared, and you can see the Hoto is a lot shorter. And let's see it from the side angle. And the Hoto is a lot more pinched towards the top of the ferrule. So because the Hoto is so short, it doesn't have as much movement as Sonia's does. See how you can really see the flex and the difference because of that intentional gapping in the ferrule? This one is definitely, which Kolinsky by nature is going to be a little bit stiffer anyway than this bristle type, but yeah, I figured I'd compare those. And then I have Sonia's Flat Definer, and this is also in the Kiyaki wood. So this brush set actually that I got, the Traditions Series Select 2024, these are my first full-size brushes from Sonia in the Kiyaki handles, and I just love them. I think they look so sophisticated and just so sleek, and I love how smooth they are. I also love how it's straight here and then gets wider. It just makes it really nice to hold in the hand. I just really love how well thought these handle shapes are. And I'm actually pretty behind on Sonia's recent releases. This was one that I felt like I just couldn't miss because I just love these bristle types in this set. And I usually don't buy sets anymore because I have so many brushes that I don't want to buy sets and then have brushes that I'm not going to use. So, but yeah, here it is. And I would say Flat Definer is pretty similar, but it is longer in length and the ferrule is smaller. And the ferrule is also more pinched. You can see there's less hair packed into the Flat Definer. And let's see the movement on this one. Yep, see this one's got good movement too because of the length. And let's see. And see there's just a little gap on this one as well. And the way it tapers. So I actually just really prefer these types of smudger brushes. And of course you could use it if you wanted to for detail work on the lid too. Or inner corner highlight. And then I got Flat Definer in the dyed Saikoho version from her Sky series. And this is literally the same exact brush as this. It's just dyed goat. Dyed Saikoho goat. I think that's all I had for this brush. All right, so let's move on to the TS2. So this brush is made of Saikoho Goat and Blue Squirrel mix. And I actually don't have any brushes in this mix, surprisingly. When I was going through my collection, I don't have any brushes in this mix in this shape specifically, in a packer brush. So I'm actually really happy I added this to my collection. I just love how perfectly her mixes are mixed together. They just do a beautiful job. And what I love about this one, when I first received it, one thing that stuck out to me is for this being a squirrel mix brush, how thick the ferrule is from the side. And it just has really nice body to it. It doesn't feel flimsy at all for this bristle mix, which this bristle mix usually doesn't. But sometimes if the hairs aren't as packed in, like if there aren't as many hairs packed in, it's going to feel a little bit more flimsy. But this has really nice resiliency. And what I really love is the point. So when you turn it on its side, it has a really nice, almost diamond taper in a way. But yeah, this one's really nice. Super soft. Very, very, very soft. I'm really excited to use this. And I feel like because of its thickness, it's gonna really pick up product quite well. So she did really, really beautiful job on this one. I was surprised I didn't have any in this bristle mix in this shape actually. But let's see. Oh, I'm gonna also, so let's first compare it with this. This is actually White Canadian Squirrel and DED Goat mix. And this is from Quo Choto and Bobo. So Bobo Doe had this on her website a little while ago. So I wanted to compare these two. So if you have the Quo Choto and Bobo one, this is it compared. And actually, similar, of course not identical. I'd say Sonia's, it looks like the ferrule is a little bit thicker, where the Bobo and Quo Choto is more pinched. But I just love these size for packer brushes personally, because I have smaller lids, so this size here is perfect for me. And actually, while I have this out, I'm gonna compare Sonia's White Canadian Squirrel mix with Quo Choto's and Bobo's. Let's see if we can get up real close. So pretty comparable. Obviously these shapes are different, but I just wanted to show you guys the mix itself. All right, so let's see. The first brush I wanted to compare this one with, I have a bunch of packer brushes. All right, so let's see. So this is another Bobo Chikuhodo brush that is, this one, I don't remember the number offhand. It's not labeled. I know she did revise it and she's selling it on her website now. So this is another DED Goat and Weasel Mix brush. And if you have this one, here's Sonia's compared. So you can really see how thick Sonia's ferrule is on the side. And that's why I really love it, because it'll really give this bristle mix a lot of strength for what it is. I love mixed brush heads. Like, they just bring me so much joy, because you just get like the best of so many worlds packed into one. All right, so let's move that out of the way. Okay, and then we have, just to give a comparison, this is from the Quo Choto Buzomi series. I call them pumpkin brushes. I could never pronounce it. But you can just see how much smaller Sonia's is compared to this one. And this one is, the Quo Choto is a much larger packer brush, but I just wanted to give comparisons so you could see them side by side if you have the Quo Choto. Okay, so there's that. And this is dyed Saikoho. All right, and then we have Sonia's Builder 3. So let's see these side by side. So the Builder 3 is shorter, and the ferrule might be just a little bit bigger, but not by much. Actually, they look really similar. It might just be the light playing tricks on me, but here they are side by side. I love the Builder 3. This one's actually dyed DED Goat. All right. Oh, actually, okay, I lied. So this brush is a non-labeled brush I got as a free gift from Bobo when I placed an order, which was so kind of her. So this is also Blue Squirrel and Goat mix. This was the only brush that I found in my collection that was anything close. And the Bobo one reminds me of the premium series from Quo Choto. The mix of the bristles just reminds me of that so much, because you can really see with this one here, the squirrel's more towards the top and the goat's more towards the bottom, where with Sonia's, personally, I love the way Sonia's is bundled because it's just mixed in equally, similar to like what Hoto does. So there's that one. And then we have, this is a Takeda brush that I have, and it is White Pine Squirrel. And I don't remember the numbering offhand, so I apologize, but I have shown it on my channel before. You can see how much smaller the Takeda is. Well, not much smaller, but it is smaller. So if we turn it on its side, Sonia's is definitely denser. I really love this brush too because it's just the perfect size. All right, and then we have the Builder Pro Dyed Psycho Goat from Sonia. And these two are actually, I was gonna say they're comparable, but Builder Pro is a little bit longer in length and a little bit skinnier, but you can see how much all goat, especially dyed goat, blooms out. Dyed goat really picks up products really well. It grabs it because it's such a beefy build. When you add that dye, it's just really nice. And then we have the Builder 1 from Sonia G. This is an oldie but a goodie. And you can see really how thick the Builder 1 is. She is massive. Builder 1 is like amazing for those almost nearly impossible products to pick up. I wonder if she'll ever bring this one back. This one's really dense. This one has like literally no gap. And it's in her old traditional handles. All right, and then we have another one in her old traditional handle. This is the Builder 2. And you can see how much thicker and larger the Builder 2 is in comparison. So, but just to give size reference, if you've got the Builder 2. And then we've got the, now we're gonna have brushes running towards me here in my pile. And we got the Sonia G Soft Shader from her Sky Series set. Here they are compared. And Soft Shader is definitely longer, as you can see. And then from the side, thickness is pretty similar, pretty comparable, but I just love the size of the TS2. I can't wait to try it because, and I really love the Soft Shader. This is like one of my holy grail packer brushes. I know a lot of you guys like that brush too. All right, last one for this comparison is the Rephr 02 Max. Just to show if you have this brush. And with Sonia's, where you've got the Squirrel mixed in, you can see it really comes to a nice point. Anytime a brush is goat, it's gonna be a lot harder to get a more precise point because it blooms out so much more. So that's what's nice about having the best of both worlds. Okay, and then we've got the TS3. Now, honestly, this was the brush I was most excited for. It is so incredibly soft, you guys. So soft. I don't even feel the goat in here. I really don't. I don't have a single pokey hair. Same with these two. I mean, honestly, all I feel are the squirrel hairs. She did a phenomenal job on these. So this one I was most excited for because it's like a perfect blender brush. And I know she's got those new brushes out. I would love to try where it's the dyed, similar to the to this series from Quo Choto. And I forget the number offhand. I don't have that set anyway, so I can't remember, but I know this shape and size on her blog. She showed it and it's identical. It's just different bristles. So with this, I'm really excited because it's got that really beautiful point and it's got a lot of good strength to it. And actually, I prefer this more than the other holiday set. I did not pick that up, but I feel like with Goat, it gives White Canadian Squirrel the strength and the build that it needs as far as eye brushes go, because yeah, I don't know how to explain it until you've really tried it for yourself. I love this bristle mix. And I just wanted to compare. So this is the Quo Choto medium White Canadian Squirrel brush that I've shown. Now, it is a packer brush, but it's all White Canadian Squirrel. So I just wanted to show you guys them side by side, just so you can see. And you can see Sonia's is brighter in color due to the Goat. But softness, super similar. Quo Choto's is just ever so slightly, because of course it doesn't have Goat, but I mean, they are nearly identical. And honestly, it's less dense, so that could also be playing into it. But yeah, actually nearly identical. So whatever they did, and these are, I meant to mention to you guys too, these Sonia brushes are post-wash. So I have already washed them and they're fully bloomed. All right, and then just for size reference, we've got this Yoshiki Silver Fox eye brush. I think this is the medium or the small. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can just see the perfect size this Sonia brush is. Honestly, I was trying to go through my collection and find a brush that's this same size, even in any bristle type, and I just couldn't, I didn't have anything. So I'm really psyched to have something completely different. You can just see the build, it's beautiful, but yet it has that perfect taper. So there's that, and then we've also got the Rephr 14 Max. So again, really no comparing whatsoever, but just for sizes, if you guys are curious and you have some of these brushes. So, I mean, even the length of Sonia's is just so nice. I could have this brush here in like every bristle type imaginable and be happy. I can't wait to use it. Gorgeous. Oh, so nice, Sonia. You did so good. I love them. Okay. Last but not least, and if you're still here with me, thank you so much. I know this video is long. Last but not least, we have the TS4. So this one's labeled as Yellow Canadian Squirrel on Beautylish's website, as well as Sonia's blog. And personally, and if you know this answer to my question, please leave it down below. I'm having a hard time deciphering Yellow Canadian Squirrel between Red Canadian Squirrel because the coloring and the feel is identical. So I don't know if maybe different brush manufacturers just label the hair as different. I'll have to look it up. I never really did research on it, to be honest, but yeah. So this one also has an intentional ferrule gap. You can see the tapering starts really low and then it goes up to a really nice point. So this pencil brush has really beautiful movement as well. You can see, very soft. Any Canadian Squirrel, it's just my favorite. I am so in love with this bristle hair type. I just love it, love it. If you have sensitive eyes, it's going to feel like a dream. So then I've got my Takeda custom Canadian Squirrel brush that I did a while ago. And as far as color, I mean, I actually do see a difference in the pattern in the hair in person and in color. So yeah. So maybe it is a completely different bristle mix. I'm not entirely sure. Then I have the Choto Z10, which is honestly my favorite pencil brush of all time. And this brush is pretty much the same length as this one. Actually, nope, Z10 is longer. I apologize. But yeah, the Z10 is literally one of my favorite pencil brushes ever. So when I saw the TS4. I was excited to have it in the yellow Canadian Squirrel. And the yellow Canadian Squirrel is even softer. All right, and then I've got a QLang Gong pencil brush. This is in red Squirrel. And let me see. These two are really similar in length. This is a very close comparison. And of course, red Squirrel is gonna be even softer. I mean, red Squirrel is like, oh, actually, they're pretty similar, you guys. Wow, pretty similar. But yeah, so I felt like that was a good comparison. And then I've got Sonia G's Pencil Pro. Just if you have this one, you're curious on the size when comparing. And of course, the Pencil Pro is shorter in length, and it doesn't come to as much of a taper as the yellow Canadian Squirrel. And then I have another Takeda pencil brush. This is Canadian Squirrel, European dressed. The other Takeda I showed was also European dressed Canadian Squirrel. But yeah, actually holding them next to each other, I really do see a difference. So it has to be different from Canadian Squirrel. Unless, of course, these are animals, so one may be lighter in color than the next, so I'm not really sure, but yeah, this is another one of my favorite pencil brushes. Honestly, too, I really like the length of Sonia's a lot. Okay. Oh, and this one I haven't even shown yet, but this is Koido, Yoshiki, and Bobo. This one is White Canadian Squirrel and Psycho Hoko also. And let's see. There they are compared. So you can see, of course, the Koido is a lot thicker. So I'm just really happy to have all these different sizes and lengths. So even though they're comparable, let's see if I can get them all together. Or at least try, but yeah, here they all are here. But yeah, really just wonderful curated brush set in my opinion. If you're going back and forth, you're not sure if you're gonna pick them up, if you wanna pick them up, just by my first impressions, I really do highly recommend them. They feel very luxurious, high quality. And as you can see, I definitely have a pretty good collection of mixed bristles in my collection, as well as Canadian Squirrel, White Canadian Squirrel. So I have a lot to compare to, and she just knocked it out of the park. And to be honest, at the time I'm filming this video, and depending on when it reaches you, I am shocked to see these brushes are still in stock on the beautylish website. I thought they were going to go within like the first hour. I really did. Her brushes tend to sell out really, really quickly. So yeah, I highly recommend them. Beautiful curated set, and she just did amazing. As she always does, Sonia. You give us all the amazing brushes. I mean, especially somebody who's been in the Fude community for so many years. I mean, she would be the person to give us perfect brushes, and she always delivers. So great job, Sonia. I love them. I mean, if you have sensitive eyes, these are going to be a dream brush set for you, because they're all equally as soft to one another. Just so nice. So... but yeah, I would love to know everyone's thoughts down below. Did you guys pick up this brush set? Are you thinking about it? Let me know what you think down below. And yeah, again, if you guys stuck through this whole video, thank you so much for hanging with me today. And other than that, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.